Okay, here we go. The 88th Texas legislative session concluded this Monday, May 29th. And out of the over 30 pieces of cannabis legislature that were introduced, not a single one made it into law. That is both good and bad. There were certainly some bills like HB 1805, which would have expanded conditions and the THC percentage for the medical marijuana T-Cup program that, because it didn't make any progress this session, is deferring any movement for medical marijuana another 2 years since Texas meets biannually, which will also defer adult use cannabis inevitably by another 2 years, but we won't get into that right now. Next up, there were some decriminalization bills which would have helped decriminalize and reduce penalties for cannabis possession across the state, but because those didn't pass, you still better be careful with possession, as Texas still considers anything greater than 0.3% of Delta-9 THC a criminal offense. We also tried to introduce a bill that would revert the smokable hemp ban that was put in place for manufacturing and processing last June of 2022, but again, that did not pass, so the ban is still in place. And the bill that took up the most of my attention was SB 264, which used language that lumped all the THC isomers together and would have capped the total amount allowable for THC in hemp at 0.3% total THC, which would have been no bueno for hemp-derived cannabinoids like Delta-8 THC and Delta-9 THC on a dry weight basis. The specific language from the bill said, "A person may not manufacture, sell, or purchase a consumable hemp product in this state that contains synthetically derived tetrahydrocannabinols as defined by department rule, including synthetically derived acids, isomers, or salts of tetrahydrocannabinol." And if you've been tracking me in my content, then you know that I'm very public about the difference between using the word synthetic and synthesis, which I believe is the correct word we should be using. So the fact that this bill did not pass was a big win. I'll also mention that it came after a good effort put up by the Texas Hemp Coalition, the organization I'm the president of, and on behalf of our executive director, Alyssa Nolan. Alyssa was in the room with the senator and other key policymakers defending our stance as an industry, and I'm grateful to have been a part of helping support those efforts. With all of that said, there is legislation and then there is regulation. And so while session is over, and as far as legislation goes in the state of Texas, there is no change from the last session 2 years ago. But we still have regulation and some federal legislation to be on the lookout for. Specifically, the 2018 Farm Bill is expiring at the end of 2023, and that is the original piece of legislation that legalized hemp and Delta-9 THC less than 0.3% on a dry weight basis, so I'll be paying close attention to how that progresses. Then there is still the lawsuit against the state of Texas on the Delta-8 ban, which was on hiatus until this session was completed, and I anticipated to get picked up sometime before the year ends. And the DEA recently made an update stating new rules are coming for synthetic cannabinoids, including CBD and Delta-8 THC. Again, we really need to get clarification between synthetics and synthesized, but that seems to be the trending battle right now. Certainly more to come as I continue to track these issues, but I've also got my eyes open waiting to see what happens with the hundreds of applications the state of Texas just accepted for the T-Cup medical marijuana expansion, considering the program didn't expand at all. I'm not sure what the state will do, so I'm curious, what do you think is going to happen? Forward this to a friend to keep them informed, give it a like, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Bye.